Welcome back. There has been an alarm in India over COVID situation in China, especially in a scenario where blockade of flights is no longer what countries are willing to do. Several passengers coming into India are testing positive, including some that have travelled to China before. So are we in any danger? The Health Ministry has sounded an alarm, and here is what they're saying. They're saying that there is an expected surge in cases in January, which is next month, the start of the new year. The surge, though, will not lead to hospitalizations or deaths. This could be because several already have immunity via previous infections or vaccinations. But the Health Ministry sources are saying that we need to be careful till January. The next 30 days are extremely crucial for India to be very precautionary about. When cases are reported globally, generally there's a trend that trend hits India 30 days later, which is why they're making this prediction. Let's go across to a couple of experts now joining us. Rajiv Jayadevan is Vice Chairman, National IMA COVID Task Force. Dr. Kuldeep Grover is Head Critical Care and Pulmonology from CK Birla Hospital in Gurugram. Dr. Grover, I'm coming to you first up. Even though the government says that there won't be possibly the same amount of hospitalizations required if a new wave hits India, there's recently been a lot of COVID drills being conducted in various state hospitals. How prepared do you think hospitals are to deal with the next surge of cases?
So we are expecting a fourth wave in coming month or so. So this wave, as we are expecting in third wave as well, cases will be more, hospitalization would be of mild cases, severity would be less. So as far as mild cases are concerned, maximum would be outpatients only. Hospitalization would be the patients only who will be unvaccinated and they would be having less kind of immunity. So as far as hospitalization is concerned, hospitalization would be low because we are admitting on the criteria of severity of illness. If a patient is having severe symptoms and he is requiring hospitalization, then only we are admitting those patients. And maximum patients have attained their immunity, as you have told us. So maximum will be of mild kind of illness and can be managed on outpatient basis as well.
Okay. I do mention here that the variant that is being linked to the surge in China has been prevalent in India in as many as 20 countries. It has not so far been linked with any rise in cases. Rajiv Jayadevan, I want to come to you. What do you make of the, if I can use the term, the predictions that the Health Ministry is making? What do you make of them?
Yes, we must remember that COVID-19 is a cyclical disease. It affects different countries in different ways. For example, France had 5 waves, Japan had 3. India is 10 months out of its last major wave. So that's a long time to be free from a COVID wave. Agreed that what we are facing now are Omicron sub-lineages. As Dr. Grover said, these cause relatively mild disease, particularly so among vaccinated people. I must also add a word of caution here that we do see occasional fatal or serious outcomes among unvaccinated people who get this particular so-called mild variant. So that being said, let's look at the forecast now. It's extremely difficult to make an accurate prediction as to what will happen next, particularly with the pandemic. But with a long time since the last wave, with the World Health Organization's latest epidemiological update published, it's in public domain, it shows the countries that are having increasing cases, increasing deaths in orange, and you can see a belt on the eastern horizon next to India. And north of India, we know what is happening. That is in China. 1.4 billion people are suddenly being exposed to the virus. So it is always a good thing to remain cautious. This does not mean spreading panic. It is about being aware of a potential problem that could come. And if cases rise, then we can step up our measures accordingly.
Yeah.
Right now, precautionary measures are needed.
So what does that mean for the average citizen? Rajiv Jayadevan, very quickly before I take a final word with Dr. Grover, what are you advising the public? Because you've got holiday season, a lot of people mingling, going to parties. I'm not sure if masking is going to be on the top of their heads.
Absolutely. It's difficult to do masking in close social gatherings among friends. But that being said, people with vulnerabilities, for example, if they're older individuals or people living with older people who have compromised immune systems or severe comorbid conditions are advised to take extra caution. because they did not want to take ill at this time. Right now, hospital loads are low. As Dr. Grover said, right now India is going through a what is called a low tide phase of the pandemic, and we hope it stays this way. We just want to be cautious. That's all.
Right. And Dr. Grover, I believe the central message that is also coming to light over the last 2 weeks when we've been discussing COVID rise in China is that if you haven't taken your booster, then that becomes a priority right now.
Yeah. Priority of taking a booster is very important, even if we are vaccinated with both kind of vaccine as well. Because whatever cases, they are mild. So severity, if it is less, and virulence, so as the severity is more and virulence is less, it is major contribution of vaccine as well. If we are vaccinated, we have more and more antibodies into our system. And if we are keep boosting ourselves, these antibodies are having short life of history. So if we are boosting ourselves, our body will be having immune cells. They will be having more and more amount of antibodies. If we are getting an infection anywhere, so we can deal with any kind of new infection. This antibody can prevent that severe infections as well.
So the message clearly is that especially if you're vulnerable in the aged section or you have comorbid situations, then you are at greater risk. So take care of yourself. If you can, mask up, avoid social gatherings and take your booster shot as well. I do thank our experts for joining us. With that, it's a wrap on Brass Tacks. My colleague Ayushman is joining you with News Epicenter.